you can reduce, when you want to substitute the whole flour with some other flour, you need to add half of maida and the other half can be atta or almond flour. But when you're adding almond flour, you need to increase the butter a little because that's very dry. It makes your cakes very dry. So you'll have to increase the butter to maybe 75 grams in this. Now, this is called creaming the butter and sugar in technical terms. When you beat the butter and sugar, इसको हम कहते हैं butter को हम cream कर रहे हैं, butter and sugar को. Now, after this, if you are doing egg wala cake, you need to add the eggs. But I told you that instead of eggs, you can add the milk. But milk you will not add just now, because if you add milk just now, it will curdle. So when I'm doing the eggless one, just see the difference. Now, the eggs should be added one at a time, not together and at room temperature. Now goes the second egg. This plug is troubling me a little. That's it. Now we don't need the beater after this. Remember, whenever you add the maida, the beater has to be kept aside. One thing which you need to remember is not to add all the maida in one go. So add it gradually. Instead of butter, if you want to use oil, so about 60 grams would be about half a cup of melted, half a cup of oil would be enough. You can use, instead of the electric beater, if you don't have the electric beater, you can use a whisk to do it, but then it takes a little longer. And see that your butter is absolutely soft when you do it. It's not very essential, only it makes the work easier. It takes a little longer. The idea is the butter and the sugar needs to be creamed very well. So you can use a whisk also. Now I'll show you the close-up. Now I'll show the close-up. Just put this there. Okay. Now see, after adding, I first creamed the butter and sugar, then I added the eggs, and now I've added the flour in batches. Now, after this, I have to do something. Now, first of all, I'm adding, if you were not to make an orange cake, let's tell you one thing another. If you were not to make an orange cake, I would have added a little milk in this to get the consistency right. Okay, but now we are making an orange cake. So let me add the orange mixture first, and then I will set the consistency with the milk. This is not the consistency that I'm looking for. So now what you do is how to make the orange cake.
Ma'am, which oil can we use in cake?
Any orange, whatever is available. Here, first of all, I'm using orange marmalade. Here, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of orange marmalade. The actual orange will go on the topping. This is inside. About 4 tablespoons of water.
Ma'am, in place of orange marmalade, can we use orange zest?
Orange zest we'll use on the top. That is different.
If I don't have orange marmalade, what should I use instead of it?
Okay, see, and what you can do is just add about, I'm going to add 2-3 tablespoons of milk. If you don't have orange marmalade, you could either use orange squash, orange crush, or orange marmalade mixed with water, which becomes like crush only. And if you don't want to add orange flavor in the cake through these things, you can just add orange essence to your mixture, to your batter, and add a little extra milk. Like I've said, 2-3 tablespoons of milk. Maybe it will take about half a cup of milk then, because see, this is going to reduce this is going to make the consistency thinner.
Ma'am, what about the orange juice which we get in Tetra Pak, the real one?
The orange juice you can add, but then orange juice आप कितना डालोगे? Maybe about 2 to 3 tablespoons, not much, 3 to 4 tablespoons you can do that. But orange marmalade gives a very nice taste. What you can do is, the topic that I'm going to do just now, after this, then you can add that. I'll tell you, after you've done the whole cake, then you'll understand better what you can do. Okay? Now see the consistency. If I lift it up, it's too thick. So I need to alter it by adding a little milk to it. Some people, for children especially, like a little chopped raisins also in it. So if you like, you can add a few raisins, black raisins, golden yellow raisins, any raisins would be nice. About a tablespoon of chopped raisins.
Ma'am, can
I'm
we make
going
some
to add
other...
the zest on. What did you say?
Ma'am, can we add some other jam also if you want to make some other flavor cake like
Yes,
strawberry
absolutely.
jam?
Yeah, you can do that. Why not? You can add strawberry jam. Then you can add strawberries on top, the way I'm going to do orange.
Yeah.
Now see the consistency. If I hold it, it should be a soft dropping consistency. What is a soft? I don't need to do this. If I need to do this, that means it's not soft dropping. So I'll take a little, about just a wee bit of milk more, because it was not dropping so easily. It should be a soft dropping consistency. When you're cooking, when you're baking, there's a pouring consistency, there's a dropping consistency, there's a soft dropping consistency. So pouring is like a ribbon consistency. Then comes soft dropping, is when you just lift it up and it drops without any hitting your hand. And dropping is when you have to literally hit a little. So for cookies and all, it's dropping. For cakes, it's soft dropping. So now we've done the batter and I'm happy with the batter. The next is, you take a Bundt pan. B-U-N-D-T is a Bundt pan, or you can use a regular cake tin. That's not a problem. Grease it nicely. If you see my hands, I've already done this work and kept to save time. And it's a good idea. Sometimes the cake sticks to the bottom of the cake tin. So it's a good idea to just sprinkle about a teaspoon of flour here. And do this. Coat the bottom and the sides of the cake tin with a little flour. When you're doing a chocolate cake, people do it with cocoa. So you could do that. But we're not doing a chocolate cake today. Okay. Now I'll pour the batter in this.
मैम सभी केक्स की ऐसी ही कंसिस्टेंसी होनी चाहिए?
डिपेंड करता है, मोस्टली ऐसी होनी चाहिए. अगर आपका, जैसे आप बोल रहे हो ना, केक सिंक हो जाता है, किसी ने, somebody asked me that the cake sinks. Sometimes if your consistency is too loose, then also your cake sinks when you take it out. So the consistency has to be a soft dropping consistency, unless it's a sponge cake which has a ribbon consistency. A sponge cake with very little fat in it will have a more of eggs, then it will have a ribbon consistency. But this consistency works well.
And ma'am, if you're using oil instead of butter, so still
the
we have to,
consistency will become slightly thinner than this.
yeah. So do we have to add milk then? If
You
we're
will
using-
have to add. Yes, you will have to add. Maybe a little less, but just check the consistency. So that is why we write milk according to the consistency, desired consistency.
Okay, and this will be how much grams of cake? Like 500 grams?
This would be about 500 grams. Yes, half a kg.
Okay.
Ma'am, which milk should they use? Full cream milk?
No, you can use any milk that you have at home. Not a problem. Itna thoda sa use karna hai. Okay. Now you have to just pat the cake tin.
And if we
that-
use maida,
Yeah.
and if we use wheat instead of maida,
Uh-huh.
then we have to increase the quantity of milk.
Definitely wheat, and don't make it completely of wheat, make it half and half. Completely of wheat will not be so good,
Okay.
so make it half and half, but the milk will go up because atta takes in more, it has more hydration capacity. See, now for all cakes you can do this. Sprinkle some til, it looks very nice. Some almonds I've just sliced. This is for general, you can do on the top. One thing, see, I forgot, I should have preheated my oven, which is very important. So let me first go and preheat it. Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am, which till you have
Yes.
used, the roasted ones? Or the normal?
Just give me a minute. Now, another thing, I've used the normal ones, no roasting, because the almonds will get roasted in the oven. So I haven't roasted the almonds, or not the til also, because they'll all get roasted in the oven. Okay, now there's a little change. Please, all of you listen carefully. The recipe says bake at 180. I tried doing this at 180, but my cake got a little, little extra brown when I did my cake. I always try my recipes before I teach you, so that, I give you 100% correct recipes. So please change your temperature to 160 for 25 minutes. So I'm just waiting for this oven to get hot. So preheat your oven when you're doing the last bit, because I was that side, I couldn't preheat the oven. So it's always a good idea to preheat the oven. And even if you've not preheated, don't be in a rush. The way you can't cook roti on a ठंडा तवा, जैसे आप ठंडे तवे पे रोटी नहीं बना सकते, उसी तरह ठंडे oven में आप केक नहीं रख सकते हैं. So we'll just wait for this and then do it. Okay. अब जल्दी से मैं, हाँ जी बोलिए.
Do we preheat at the same temperature, 160?
Yes,
or
yes, absolutely at the same temperature. जिस पे हम पहले, जिस पे bake करना
For
होता है.
how long? For how long?
About 10 minutes, but like most of the ovens tell you when they are preheated, they give you a beep. So it depends. Okay. Now we are doing the eggless cake. I have 1 3/4 cups of maida, which I have already sifted with 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda, the way I had done for the egg wala cake. I hope you all remember that. I've done this step and kept it. Okay. Now for this, I need, Ankit is saying something. What is he saying? I can hear Ankit. Okay. Now I have taken 100 grams of softened butter, and I'm going to add 3/4 cups of sugar to it and beat it.
Ma'am, this is for the eggless, what you're showing?
Yes, I've started with the eggless cake. My oven is still not done.
Okay, so it's 100 grams.
Tell me, yeah, I can hear you.
Is the sugar powdered or is it granules of sugar?
No, it's powdered sugar. Powdered sugar.
Thank you.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the quantity of butter?
Ma'am, can we use castor sugar as well?
Yes, you can use castor sugar.
Ma'am, can we use...
Yeah, tell me, ask me what you want to.
Ma'am, can we use brown sugar?
You can use brown sugar, but sometimes in this, the brown sugar gives a very dark color and orange cake looks better in a lighter color. Okay. So where 3/4 cup of butter is written, please write 100 grams there in your recipes and change the temperature for both the cakes to 160 degrees for 25 minutes.
Ma'am, can we use gourd?
Can you use?
Gourd, jaggery.
Actually, you know, don't change too many recipes in cakes. If you want, I'll teach you a jaggery wala cake. Let's not change in this. Okay?
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you teach gluten-free cakes also?
We can do that. Can we now have the questions towards the end? Because, you know, let's do the recipe. Otherwise, the recipe will not get completed. And whoever wants to ask questions can ask me later. Just mute your mics for a while and switch off your videos and just watch me doing it and let me speak so that all your doubts can be cleared and I'll tell you substitutes after you've seen the recipe. It will be easier for you to understand the substitutes. Now, after this, we had added eggs and I told you that you can use milk instead of the eggs. So instead of the eggs, we are using 3/4 cup of milk. For every egg, you use 1/4 cup of milk. So for 2 eggs, it will become 1/2 cup of milk. And we had already used milk in that recipe. So total amount of milk that goes is in 3/4 cup. Now, should I add the milk? If I add the milk just now, my mixture will curdle. Why? Because there has to be a little maida in this before I add the milk. I cannot add the milk. I'm going to add a little maida, mix it up, and then add a little milk. What I'm trying to tell you is after you've beaten the butter and sugar, add the milk and flour in batches starting with the maida. तो जब आपने अपना मक्खन और चीनी को बीट कर लिया है, उसके बाद जो दूध और मैदा है वो थोड़ा थोड़ा करके मिलाएंगे, पर पहले दूध नहीं डालेंगे, पहले आप मैदा डालेंगे और ऐसे उसे मिलाते चले जाएंगे. बस, और बीटर से नहीं फेंटेंगे आप इसे, कंसिस्टेंसी का ध्यान रखते हुए. लास्ट का मैं थोड़ा दूध बचा लेती हूँ क्योंकि मैं कंसिस्टेंसी देखकर फिर लास्ट का डालूंगी, क्योंकि मुझे अभी इसमें ऑरेंज मार्मलेड भी मिलाना है. थोड़ा सा ऑरेंज मार्मलेड विथ अ लिटिल वाटर इन इट. ऑरेंज मार्मलेड का मेरे को टेस्ट बहुत अच्छा लगता है. इफ यू लाइक, आपको मैं बता रही थी कि इसकी जगह आप ऑरेंज जेस्ट भी डाल सकते हैं, लेमन जेस्ट भी डाल सकते हैं. जो दूध की क्वांटिटी है वो थोड़ी सी बढ़ जाएगी, या फिर ऑरेंज जेस्ट के साथ आप ऑरेंज जूस डाल दीजिए, जो रेगुलर जूस है आपका. तो जैसे ये 2 चम्मच मार्मलेड है और 4 चम्मच पानी है, तो आप 6 टेबलस्पून के करीब जूस ले लीजिए इसकी जगह, और साथ में आप अपना ऑरेंज जेस्ट डाल दीजिए.
एसेंस,
हाँ जी,
एसेंस अगर डालना ऑरेंज एसेंस,
हाँ,
तो वो कितने ड्रॉप्स डालें?
वो इसमें 1/2 टीस्पून के करीब डल जाएगा ऑरेंज एसेंस. क्योंकि आप मार्मलेड डालते हो तो एसेंस की आपको जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है। ओके, अब ये देखो बैटर जो है थोड़ा सा गाढ़ा है, तो जो ये दूध बचा था वो भी चला जाएगा, तो ये रेसिपी बिल्कुल परफेक्ट है। फ्रेश जूस आई वुड नॉट रिकमेंड बिकॉज कई बार फ्रेश जूस कड़वा कर देता है। नाउ दिस इज अ परफेक्ट कंसिस्टेंसी, सी ये आराम से गिर रही है। और इसको अब मैं बेकिंग के लिए बाद में रखूंगी, अभी नहीं रखती बिकॉज मेरा अभी अवन वैसे भी खाली नहीं है। और मैं आपको टॉपिंग बनाना सिखा देती हूँ। मेरे पास ये केक बना हुआ है और इसके ऊपर ही मैं टॉपिंग करना सिखा दूंगी आपको। ओके, सबसे पहले आपको मैं ऑरेंज राइन निकालना सिखाती हूँ विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो आई विल शो यू अ क्लोज अप। How long can we keep the batter? You can keep the batter for 5, 10, 15 minutes. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Not too much. Maybe half an hour is all right, but not too long. Okay. Now this is an orange. First of all, freeze your orange. I could not freeze it because it was lying on the table in front of me. But if you freeze it, it becomes easier. There are two ways to do it. Like this. Can they see me nicely? Huh? Okay. Just the idea is not to have the white pith. Can you see a little white pith has come? Okay. Now what you need to do is remove this white pith with your knife, and then you can cut this into small bits and you will use this. Now if you want to use it instead of orange marmalade, you can just use juice and mix this with the juice inside if you like, but we'll be putting on top also, so I don't think there's really a need. Might become a bit too much. So you cut it like this. I have taken out this rind and kept, see, and this was taken out not with a knife, it was taken out with a peeler. So it depends. Now this peeler is not going to work here because it is actually working, but because it has to be cold, but it's come out well. See, I can't see the white. This is the white pith which is bitter. This should not come. So you can either use a peeler like this, just go up and down with the peeler. Don't try and take it like this, it won't come out. You have to do it like this, like zigzag, then it comes out. Now after that, when I got the peels out, I just removed all this pith from the orange, and then I have made butterfly kind, you know, like this, and then this way for the top. This is for the decoration, the caramelized oranges on top. But remember, after taking out the peels, you need to remember to remove all the pith. ये सारा white निकाल देना, and then use the oranges. Okay. Now we'll go back there.
Excuse me, ma'am. Is it orange or it's Kino?
It's Malta.
Malta, okay.
Malta, अगर आप वेस्ट में यूएसए वगैरह में इसी को संतरा बोलते हैं वो, तो आजकल यही संतरा आ रहा है, दूसरा संतरा आ नहीं रहा है।
मैम उसके लिए छिक्कल भी नहीं छिलेंगे ना इतने इजीली?
नहीं, ये छिल जाता है। ये देखो छिल गया अभी मेरे से, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुई मुझे, छिल गया था।
थैंक यू।
But छिलेगा, the Malta or the orange will only peel if it's a fresh firm one with a thick peel, and it's a good idea to freeze the orange or the Malta first for a little while. Okay. Now
once the season is there for orange, can we use that?
I made the cake with orange only the season has gone off now. I made it with oranges only. अब तो season अचानक चला गया ना. Okay. Now on the top you can have peels like this, or you can cut them also. So let's see. what we do. Now for the topping of the cake, we are going to take how much orange juice is written in the recipe. Just trying to see, because as I told you, it's always a good idea to have the recipe in hand. Okay. I don't have the recipe in my hand.
4 to 5 tablespoons.
4 to 5 tablespoons, yes, because I've just written the cake. I didn't write the decoration. Okay. So 4 to 5 tablespoons of juice. Okay. Now here we have the juice, and I'm going, this is a bit too high. Okay. I'll add some big pieces and some thin pieces. Just going to cut them up.
मैम ये ऑरेंज जूस फ्रेश है?
नहीं, ऑरेंज जूस बाजार का है. ये एक्चुअली ऑरेंज भी नहीं है. टू बी ऑनेस्ट विद यू, आई हैड मिक्स्ड फ्रूट जूस व्हिच आई एम यूजिंग. So you can use mixed fruit juice or orange juice, whatever you have at home.
Okay.
Anything which looks like orange. Mixed fruit में orange तो होता ही है, so it's not a problem.
Okay. Ma'am, can you please show us the size of the oranges that you have cut?
The size of the orange or the peel? What?
No, the smaller pieces that you have cut. You have made it into butterfly. No, the butterflies, the segments, orange segments you have cut into something in the juice. No? What size have you?
No,
so this is the full size.
No, it depends how you like it. It's exactly, you can have it into thin shreds. You can have them chopped. See, if I'm giving it to my grandchildren, they won't like it because it has a little bitter taste. But if I'm having it at a coffee party, with coffee, it will taste very nice, a little bigger pieces. So it depends for whom you're making your cake. You could even cut it into thin shreds. And if you like it zada, how people like marmalade on their toast. Some people like it nicely, some people like it less. So accordingly. Okay. Now, see, the juice has dried up. But because the temperature is a little high, let me just reduce this.
And what temperature do you use in induction?
Sometimes, it depends on the time that I have on hand. I'm seeing my watch and working accordingly. But you have to just be careful. Middle is all right, but 1200 is fine. You have to, 1200 is fine. Okay, now see, the juice had dried up, but my peas were not cooked. I could, feel that they are lightly bitter. So I'm going to cook them a little more in a little more juice. When I did it on the gas on very slow flame, I managed, in 4 or 5 tablespoons, but here I had to add a more. So you can write about half a cup. Just change your recipe to half a cup. Because it's better to overdo the peels than to underdo them. Make your juice half a cup. It will taste also nice. Let's have a look at the cake. Now, another thing which I wanted to tell you about baking is never open your door in between. At least the first 20 minutes while it's being baked, just have a look. And if you can't see it very clearly, never mind, because if a draft of air goes in, it will settle down, it will sink. So even when you close the door, close it very carefully. Don't, when you open the door, don't push the door. Just close it very gently so that the draft of air doesn't go in.
And ma'am, are you baking it on both the rods, like upper and the lower rod, or only on the lower rod?
The convection is always on when you have the convection mode, the top and the bottom rods are always on, but it depends on your individual oven. If it's a very small oven, then you need to switch off the top oven. If it's a very big oven, then you have to have both the rods on throughout. If it's a medium-sized oven, OTG, then you can put off the top rod. You have to see your own oven, understand your own oven. That's why in these books, when I write these books on eggless baking and all, I always write a note on, you understand your oven. It's very difficult for me. Don't follow me. Just judge your, see the cake for yourself. If it's getting too brown from the top, then you need to switch off the top coil after a while. Okay.
And
now
do you suggest that we should on the fan also with the baking?
Yes, fan is good.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is done, but I'll add a little more juice. Okay. Now in
Excuse
this,
me, ma'am. What should be
what should you?
What should be the placement? The placement, like it should be on the bottom, or I have a big oven.
Big oven, it can be in the middle. If it's a small oven, then bottom. Like this is not a very big oven. This is a medium oven. If it's a big built-in oven, then middle rod is all right. If it's a small oven, then definitely the lowest rod. Now see, in this, I tasted my peels and I found them a little bitter because they're still not cooked. They're taking a little while. It depends on the orange. Sometimes, depends on the quality of the orange. So this is taking a little more time. You should put them in your mouth and I can feel they are a little bitter. So I'm adding a little sugar to it, about just a teaspoon of sugar. So if need be, you can add a little sugar to this. This is done now. Okay, now we'll do the close up for the cake. Close up karna hai. Before you put this, you can always, pierce it with a knife or something so that the juice goes in a little. And if you like a thicker coating, you can also add a little corn flour in it. It's just how you want it.
And ma'am, the cake has to be cold when you have to put this syrup, or
No, you can do it as soon as it comes out. Not a problem.
Okay.
Not a problem at all. But just cook the syrup a little more. I haven't cooked it because of shortage of time. Just see that it gets a little syrupy and your peels get done. Even if you have to add a little extra juice. Okay?
Ma'am, if I don't add the peels and just the juice and corn flour, and then
you can do that. Yes. If you don't, you could add the peels inside if you like.
Because fresh orange or Malta may not be available now, but the packet juice is available.
All right, you can do that. Not a problem. Okay, now how do you do your oranges? We'll just increase the heat nicely now for this. Now we need a little butter. And a little sugar. Let the butter and sugar become a little brown before you put your oranges. You can use brown sugar here if you like. We have another 6 minutes in the oven. So I'll show you the cake. Now see, this has become nice and brown, light brown. Now I'll add the oranges. So for those who like a little thick coating of your juice, just write in your recipes half a cup of juice, I said, instead of the 4 to 5 tablespoons, and half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of corn flour dissolved in another 2 tablespoons of juice. Okay. They're nice. They are turning nice golden brown. In this, you need the heat to be nice, high heat. Don't be in a rush to turn. Let them get nice and golden and caramelized with the butter and sugar. I hope you all have changed the temperature to 160 for 25 minutes. The minor changes that I'm telling you. In the juice, please increase the juice to half a cup instead of 4 to 5 tablespoons, because the peels that you're getting these days are pretty hard. I tried with those real oranges, and this is Malta. So it took me a little longer. With that orange, it got done very fast when I tried this cake a couple of days back, about 10 days back. So, you have to work according to the ingredients that are available. If you understand the basics, then there's never a problem. This is done. Can I close up? Can they see now? This? Can you see the beautiful oranges?
Ma'am, can we do it with Mosmi also?
No, Mosmi won't taste nice. I don't think Mosmi should taste nice.
Okay.
So, have you all seen the close-up? Now, let me take out the cake also. It's almost done. Now you can ask me the questions. Yeah.
And ma'am, if we're using like strawberry and strawberry jam, and if we want to do like top it up with strawberries, so for strawberries also we need to caramelize the same way?
No. What you need to know, strawberries become very pulpy. Yesterday only I made a very nice strawberry cake for my son's birthday. And what I did was I had done a granola topping, which I'll be doing very soon with you. Now, how I added the strawberries, I just cut the strawberries and I sprinkled some icing sugar or powdered sugar on it and just left it there. If I put it on heat, the strawberries just wilt away. वो अच्छी ही नहीं लगती हैं, वो firm नहीं रहती हैं. सिर्फ चीनी डाल के छोड़ो, पानी छोड़ देती हैं, and they become glossy and nice. That's what you have to do. Okay? And नीचे आप उसका जो सिरप बनाना है, वो आप देख सकते हो किससे बना सकते हो. जैसे आप you can do strawberry crush. You get strawberry crush. You can just add some strawberry crush, water, and maybe a little corn flour. Cook it and put that and arrange the strawberries on top. Followed?
Okay,
for strawberries.
For the caramelizing, how much sugar roughly and how much butter? Just like 5 slices आपने butterflies के लिए थे of the oranges.
हाँ, about a teaspoonful of butter. थोड़ा सा मैंने ज्यादा लिया था यहाँ पर क्योंकि जल्दी होती है. यहाँ पर जरा इंडक्शन पे काम करना मुश्किल होता है, जलता है बटर ज्यादा. धीमी आंच पर करो तो 1 टीस्पून में बड़े आराम से हो जाता है. 1 teaspoon of sugar and about 1 tablespoon of 1 teaspoon of butter and 1 tablespoon of sugar. You need a little sugar because the sugar should just melt in the butter, and it should change its color, and then put the oranges on it.
Is it possible just to show how do you did the butterflies? मुझे थोड़ा tricky लग रहा है वो करना.
Okay, I'll just tell. Yeah, बता देती हूँ.
Thank you.
यहाँ संतरा पड़ा था और नहीं है, अनुराग है, इधर है मेरे पास. Knife I'm looking for. Knife. नहीं, this is not the knife. Call Tanya.
Ma'am,
yeah, I got it.
I have to. Meanwhile, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, if I have to make lemon cake, so lemon juice I can use instead of the marmalade?
If you have to make
lemon cake.
Huh?
So ma'am, instead of the orange marmalade that you put inside the batter, we can use the lemon juice, fresh lemon juice.
Lemon juice, very little. You can't put too much of lemon juice. It will turn very khatta then.
Okay, ma'am. So for lemon cake, there will be another recipe.
Yes. Okay, now what I did was, see, I've taken this, I took this, and peel agar nikla hua hai, I cut it into 4 and I've removed this peel. Okay, now I have this in my hand. Can you see the person who asked me?
हाँ जी.
इसको 2 में काटा.
Right.
और फिर इसको बीच में से काट कर ये ऐसे करिए.
Okay.
Followed?
जी, thank you.
Ma'am, can we tea or sugar free instead of sugar?
You can do, but you have to follow the recipes exactly. In baking, you can't just keep changing.
And I have 2 doubts. One, can I use these?
Just show this close up first. This is the cake that has come out of the oven. See, the till and the almonds have got roasted nicely. You want me to do a corn flour wali coating on it quickly?
Yes, ma'am. I don't mind. Yes, ma'am.
That would be good.
Yes, ma'am.
Just get me some juice from the fridge.
Ma'am, what if a person is a diabetic?
Orange
then
juice. Top. Sorry?
What if if a person is diabetic? Then what recipes do you suggest?
Then I'll tell you different recipes for diabetes later on. Abhi nahi. Okay.
Ma'am, you have said in case I want
See,
to
I'm
use
taking half a cup of juice. Let me put it in a cup and show it to you. Yeah, it's a little less than half. I'll do it on that now. Like if you don't have orange, then this is what you can do. Orange juice, or this is the juice I've used, mixed fruit, ready made. And I have some corn flour. I had already kept it with me. I thought I'll show it on the next cake to you. About a teaspoon of corn flour. I think this will take about 2 teaspoons. You can dissolve 2 teaspoons and keep and see how much it takes. With a little juice again. I don't want to add water to it. Yeah, this has come to a boil. I'm adding the corn flour, dissolved in corn flour, the juice. Two teaspoons level. 2 teaspoons is looking fine. It's becoming translucent. I've just reduced the heat. One property of corn flour is when you overcook it, it loses its thickening capacity. Like if you get Chinese food at home and it's lying around and you want to eat it the next day when you heat the Chinese food, it becomes watery. You need to add more corn flour because overcooking of corn flour loses its strength to thicken. So once it becomes thick and it starts coating your spoon like this, see that it's coating your spoon. If it doesn't coat your spoon, you need to add a little more. Now,
Ma'am, have you put 2 teaspoons of corn flour?
Level in half a cup. It's perfect. But if you like I have small children. Can you please
repeat the recipe?
Half a cup of juice, 2 level teaspoons of corn flour. And if you have any jam at home, strawberry jam or any jam at home, if you don't have jam, then you can just add a little, about 1/4 teaspoon of butter. Any jam at home, just add that. It will give a nice taste to it. Even if it's strawberry jam or mixed fruit jam. Orange hai to aur acha hai, nahi hai? तो आप कोई भी jam डाल दो.
The quantity of the jam, ma'am?
About half a teaspoon is good. Okay. Now close up. For this. I could have taken it out and then put it, or it's the same thing. I can put it in this and then take it out later. But it's better to take it out and then put it. And these cakes, you know, it's better if you take it out and put it. Now it will be difficult. Let it cool down, then I'll take it out. You can even serve this as a dessert. How you can put some ice cream inside and it becomes a nice cake dessert. So serve it with nicely, you know, scooped ice cream inside. Vanilla ice cream will go very well. So it becomes a, instead of a tea cake, it becomes a caramelized orange dessert. Now you can ask me any questions. Yeah.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Replacing
another
egg
thing
with
which
milk.
I see nobody reminded me.
Ma'am, can pineapple be used?
एक चीज और मैं भूल गई थी. ये देखो इधर.
Orange.
इधर थोड़े से ये pumpkin seeds है मेरे पास. ये वाले. ये आप जब अपने peels कर रहे थे तब साथ में डाल सकते हो. बादाम वगैरह तो हमने पहले डाल दिए थे, बट ये peels आप बाद में peel के साथ डाल सकते हो.
Can we add pumpkin seeds and ma'am, can we add pumpkin seeds while baking also inside the cake?
You know, they lose their color, they turn brown. The almonds, when they turn brown, the till turns brown, it looks nice, but the pumpkin seeds, when they turn brown, they don't look so pretty. So it's a good idea to add the pumpkin seeds in the sauce.
And what about like inside the batter?
You can do that. Like the way I've added raisins, you can add inside the batter. That's also a nice option.
Okay, and what will be the shelf life of this cake?
This cake should do well for about 3 days at least. Shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
If it's a dry cake without the topping, then it is better even longer. But with the topping and oranges, but see, whatever might be, the sauce is okay, but these oranges will taste nice only when they are fresh. So this you should do when you want to serve. Fruit, hai na? Fruit you must serve fresh.
Okay.
Ma'am, replacing...
Any other questions? In the meanwhile, I'll try taking out the cake also.
Ma'am, do we need to keep the leftover cake in the fridge, or can we leave it outside?
You can leave it outside if you've not put any fresh oranges.
Okay.
Can pineapple be used on the cake?
Sorry?
Cream cheese frosting on the cake.
You can put frosting on this cake also, not a problem. We'll do a mascarpone cheese frosting later on in the new next, after about a couple of days. We'll be doing that also.
Hi, ma'am. Used?
Sorry?
Can pineapple be used?
Yes, you can do pineapple also. That's a good idea. You can use pineapple juice. You can use tinned pineapple, not fresh.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, replacing
I just wanted to ask you that can we place these slices at the bottom of the cake before baking, caramelize, and before baking, like I've seen a couple of these recipes on the YouTube. Yeah.
See, not orange, it will not work. But if it's an apple slice or if it's a pineapple slice, it will work. Orange will not work.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
मैम पाइनएप्पल स्लाइस को भी वैसे ही कैरामलाइज करना पड़ेगा जैसे ऑरेंज को किया?
हाँ, बिल्कुल वैसे ही करेंगे आप, बटर एंड शुगर के साथ.
Okay.
Okay, for that, can I use candied orange slices? The candied orange slices.
Won't they be too hard?
Okay. If I put them in water, boiling water for some time, and see that they soften a bit, and then
I wouldn't really recommend. I would prefer the tinned oranges, but you can always give it a try.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, for 60 grams of butter, 60 grams of butter. Ma'am, 60 grams of butter, you said half a cup oil. So 100 grams of butter would be how much oil?
100 grams would be about